So it's the 5th of January, 92, fresh from Portimao. We did a little trip down to London. But other than that, it's not been used. If I pull all the interior out, I'm not going to drive it. It's going to stop me from driving it. Interior, carpets, all the cabling, wiring loom out the car, and get all the dash out, start to look to get the glass. We're going to attempt, or I'm going to attempt to pull the carbon roof off. Anyone that's worked with 46s, 92s, with the carbon roof, it's bonded to the chassis itself. It can be removed, and it can be removed without damaging it. It might work, it might not. If it doesn't work, it's going to be either repair to the roof or a full roof replacement. It means I haven't got to drop the roll cage through the floor, which requires drilling holes and cutting slots to drop the cage down so we can weld the top. I don't see the point in fitting a full cage if you're not going to weld the tops of it because of restricted access or carbon roofs in the way or something like that. So either way, it will be fully welded. I'm not arsing around with TIG, not one for playing around trying to get pretty welds and stuff. It's got to do its job once. Got to get this car ready for some potential track action that's coming up in May, which the guys will no doubt update you on. Got my Evo there as well. There's going to be some other videos on that. That's going off, that's getting mapped, that's getting sorted, and that will be up for sale. So if you know anyone that's after low mileage, 40k, 3 owners, making 415 at the wheels, an Evo 8 GSR, hit me up. And we'll see what we can sort out. But yeah, today is gonna be all about the 92.
Aren't you guys a lucky bunch? You've got a full Jake episode. He's been filming and recording his progress on the E92 so far, but he keeps on complaining that no one comes to help him.
What, go on then. I am indeed, bro. What's up? How long's a while? I've got as far as taking the driver's seat out.
Let me grab my stuff together and I'll head up to you then.
Safe? Alright, see you in a bit.
See you in a bit.
Bye.
But it sounds like that's all about to change.
Ed's coming up. He's going to help me. The engine stuff on this, would like to do. These have got little plastic Vanos covers. These engines get really hot. Plastic, heat and oil don't really mix very well together. So what happens is the plastic cover starts to break and fall apart, and those parts end up in the engine. I've had a look. You can just about get in through the oil filler cap. We've had a camera in there. The intake and exhaust on the driver's side of the bank, there's not much left of that plastic. It's not in the oil filler. The chances are it's probably sitting in the bottom of the sump. Vanos covers have really definitely got to be done. I haven't got to pull the engine out to do that, but might as well if I'm going to do other jobs. So,
but I'm sure we'll get to that later on in the rebuild series with Jake. But for now, Ed's arrived and he's helping out.
He's an expert at stripping, you know that. Reassembling is easy, really. Many hands make for light work. So anything that's not currently being used, mark, because it stops us. And if we want to go to town and remove, like make your wiring loom a bit lighter, audio loom is separate. It's together, but it's separate, so you can actually strip it quite easily.
And he's already talking about how we can make Jake's car lighter, since it's never really undergone any dramatic weight reduction.
Strip. There you go.
After removing the spoiler, rear lights and most of the interior trim, it's time to remove that half cage, which he has already sold.
Oh my god, it's so heavy! From you? Sit. Lovely. Well, we're putting it just here.
With all the doors off, they move on to removing some of the larger interior parts.
That's the boy. Dash out. Easy f***ing peasy. Shouldn't be swearing. There you go. Easy peasy, my friend.
Feeling a little bit sorry for Jake, Jack and Nuno came over with pizza to help motivate Ed and Jake a little bit. The next day, Jake was by himself again, and once again he was filming in portrait. But bless him, he's making an effort.
Okay, we're back at it. Just going to run through with you where we got to, or where I got to. So all the rad pack, the power steering cooler is all out, all the power steering lines are drained. What I'm aiming to get done tonight is get all the exhaust system dropped off. Going to drop the subframe, take the engine and the gearbox out, put the subframe back on so it's rolling and it's moving. So when I'm doing the cage, which should be here end of next week, once the cage is in, this then can be rolled off to paint.
Look at the f***ing trim, dude, blade.
Boom! John's editing some of Jake's footage.
I'm struggling.
That's the Jake. That's the John. Tell the people. Tell the people.
It's amazing, it's so entertaining.
Tell the people.
Having so much fun. Yes, we're aware stripping a car is not the most entertaining thing to watch, but just watch. Just learn something.
I'll get all this scatty aluminium all laser cleaned up, nice and clean. Intract's off for a rebuild at MS Motorsport. We may have decided, or I might have decided, on a colour for the car. It will be a surprise. Ali has got his own ideas on what colour he wants the car. Ali's got a colour that he wants to paint this. I don't know what it is. I don't think he's told anybody. I don't know if I'm that brave. I'm sure Ali's colour choice would be lit.
Come on, Jake, be brave. Let us pick your colour.
I want to rock up and it's, I don't know, bright green or something.
Nothing wrong with that.
Obviously, Ali is our paint guy. He is our paint guru. He's the guy that's doing all the prep, paint. He's going to be the one that's laying it down on the cage, on the inside of the car, and prepping and sorting the car out. All of this and everything that we're speaking about, and all of these parts, and all the parts that we've got to get for this big leaky 140,000 mile thing, they got to be bought, they got to be fitted, and this thing's got to be ready for, as you've seen, we've got another track day coming up. It's going to be a private event. It's going to be run by us. Drop us an email, give us a good reason as to why you think you should come and lap with the boys, and yeah, let's go. Let's carry on, get the camera set up and start stripping this car down even more.
On to the more mechanical bits. First off is the exhaust, then heat shields, and then finally he drains the gearbox and engine oil. Look at him go, look how fast he is! Look at...
I just wanted to show everybody this because it was a bit of a bant. So someone's been on the grass at some point somewhere. Either that or I've got a fucking mouse living in my brake duct. And that's a lot of grass. Someone been mowing. That would probably explain why the brake pads this side have been wearing much faster than this side because I had no brake cooling. Oh, that's a lot. I'm expecting to pull a dead mouse out. That's a lot of grass.
Honestly, I'm surprised that didn't catch fire.
Maybe it's from when Peter Trander borrowed my car. He was Been lawn mowing. Oh, this thing is jam-packed with grass, so I mean, they're going in the bin anyway. I'm going to get some new ones.
Later on that day, we came to check up on Jake again, with more food and encouragement, because we're good friends. After we finished distracting him, the rest of the engine oil was drained out of the oil cooler, and the front hubs and suspension were removed.
Okay, we are evening number 4, working on the 92. I'm going to set the camera up, and I'm going to drop the diff onto my little homemade tool that I knocked up COVID, I think it was, 4 years ago. So this is the last time the diff and, well, the whole rear subframe come off. One important thing that I remembered from last time is a very big engine and gearbox in the front, nice and balanced, when the rear subframe is in nice and balanced. I don't know whether you can see in here, I've now compensated with a load of 15 and 25mm plate, so when I take the rear subframe off, it shouldn't fall off, but the camera's going to be rolling, so yeah, the car might end up on the floor if I've not got my calculations correct, but it, let's see. It's Rat Dog, we'll give it a go.
Hold on, B-roll.
This is what I have to deal with while I edit. He's fun when he's like outside and doing something.
He's fun when I'm winding him up and he's getting vexed.
But he's just too professional. He's like it's like his little demonstrations where he gives you your qualifications and stuff. Love you, Jake. Please weld my cage.
So I have already cracked all the bolts on the subframe. Not a fan of using a gun to loosen bolts that go into subframes or chassis legs or anything like that, because a lot of the time it's a captive nut. If you spin a captive nut, you are foobarred. It's a case of then cutting into the chassis leg, getting the nut in place again, welding it back on, welding the chassis leg back up together. It's not worth the hassle. So
Suck your mum!
crack them with a breaker bar first, hence the name breaker bar, and then you can whiz them out with one of these. So I've already put some load on the transmission jack. What I actually did is weld a bracket to the rear subframe that then I can mount my diff cooler to, just for this occasion. So I didn't have to, for whatever reason, if I needed to drop anything off, like the whole subframe, I can keep all this assembly intact, because there's no real need for me to drain this of fluid. There's not a huge amount of work to do on the rear subframe. It's just replacing some arms, some rear wheel bearings, so as much as it can stay together, it's just going to make it easier when we come to assemble it again. The car is still on the ramp. Pretty sturdy, I think. I'll double check. Could probably do with a little bit more weight in the rear, but it's not coming off the ramp. So, should be able to just drop this rear subframe off now, making sure that the diff cooler is not going to whack me in the head like the prop nearly did. Well, shit. Forgot to do that cable tie, didn't I?
Jake, you forgot, wait, Jake.
And I forgot to take the cooler out, didn't I? Easy peasy.
Oh, good thing I'm here.
So last night I got as far as taking the whole rear sub-assembly off. So, you can see my damper it's actually dented, that steel. Now this is not something that I would imagine, like, it's happened once, then twice, and it's not a constant problem, so it's not something you're going to notice straight away. But again, it's a new issue. This car, this is the factory underseal. That wasn't like that last time we rebuilt the vehicle. So particularly at the Nürburgring, there's a couple of places where there is no load on the rear of the car, and the rear of the car's actually leaving the ground. On full droop, the suspension or the shock body actually moves in. So it moves into my chassis. So one of the adjustments that probably going to make, and it's a suggestion that Georgia Apex has made as well, shorten the damper body on the rear of the car, but we're also going to look at shortening the damper body on the front of the vehicle as well.
He's obviously going to be watching this video tonight.
We had
And instead of you telling him via all the multiple methods of communication that we have,
Jake.
No, I can't
i.e.
tell him to change
we've
that
got
and
active
be horrible.
comms, we've got phones, we've got email. Tell him via the video.
can't tell him.
Tonight.
No, I'm not going.
No, tell him.
I'm not going to tell him to change his personality.
No, tell him that he's boring.
No, I like Jake.
Yeah, we all like
But
Jake.
he's boring.
But we like Peter too, but he's slow.
Yeah,
and, do you know what I mean? So,
We all have our.
and we like Ed. We love Ed, but he's autistic. Everyone's got their thing, and we all like me, but I'm a dickhead, blend. So,
And we just all like John.
oh, we just don't like John.
We just all like John full stop.
What are you wearing today? Let's see the attire.
I'm wearing.
Come on.
I'm wearing my.
Oi. Okay.
Everyone wants to be friends with us, but trust me, you really don't.
I'll show you the other side. It's just as bad. This is where the helper spring sits, and then this is the top of the first coil on the spring. My helper spring is actually fully compressed, which would indicate there is a level of load on the lower arm on the wheel. We say we think it's maybe on droop, but this then throws a bit of a spanner in the works. But yeah, we'll do some more digging and some more investigation and see as to why this is happening.
And it's finally time to remove that engine. I have not sped up this footage. It's not a time lapse. This is actually how fast he's working.
Forgot to undo one power steering line. It's okay. The engine hasn't smashed the floor yet. And there we have it. One S65B40 out of the car. This engine's never been out of this vehicle before. So it's 2008, it's got 140,000 miles on the clock, and this is the first time it's been out of the vehicle.
It's hilarious how impressive this car is when in actual fact it's a complete dog at this point.
So really bad seeping oil leak from, could be the sump, I don't know. I've got other suspicions because some of the oil is coming from the oil filter housing as well. At the back here there's also a lot of oil coming down the front of the engine. An oil leak around the mechatronics unit, which again, not uncommon. The seal around here is looking a little bit tired and worn, so we'll probably whip this flange off. A big leak coming out of the mechatronics system at the top here. Got a secondary air pump as well, as you can see. That doesn't get used. We'll make some little plates up, some little plates, laser cut, and get those all blanked off. Oh, there's a screw that we've at some point lost.
Just found a random screw. Okay.
That's done some mileage on top of there. For 140,000 mile engine, this made 419 on Peter's hub dyno. Obviously it's expected that the engine will lose some power over the length of its life, but this one's a good one. That's with OEM losses as stated by BMW, so
That's tonight's video, or a little bit of it.
We're not putting that on
It is
tonight's
because
video.
people are going to be bored.
Hi, my name's Jake. This is a subframe. These bolts are approximately.
This is horrible. He's gonna sit down and be watching it with like the family and
Carrie will be sat there laughing her tits off because she knows it's true.
leave him alone.
Okay, we love you. Just
love
you
you,
keep
Jake.
you keep being you.
Just liven it up a little bit. Take some drugs or something before you. So let us know in the comments down below what drugs you reckon Jake should take for the next episode. He's clearly already on cocaine moving this fast. But with the final parts of the car removed, we're ready to finally tackle that infamous carbon roof, which should be interesting since there's no videos on YouTube of anyone removing one of these OEM carbon roofs without damage. And finally, I want to thank Jake for buying me a couple of extra days by filming himself. So if you could all just comment, thank you Jake, weld John's roll cage, that would be brilliant, thanks. And if you enjoyed this episode, then you'll definitely love our future videos, so like this one and subscribe. And check out our website for merch.
We're pushing it back, yeah?
Yeah. No!
What have you crashed into?
This chair.
John's crashed, everyone. John's sat on the fresh clear coat, which is f***ing sick.
You need to flatten polish it anyway.
We need to just get some scratches on, so I stop looking
So you
at
know
it.
where to flatten polish?
Yeah. Build. But you guys have...
Oi, stuff is falling.
It is. So the...
Was that you? Yeah. Was that your bum? It just had to come out. It doesn't smell.
What do you mean? This is stupid! I hate heights!